Hi, Higher Ed 545. This is our second video message. I'm going to try to do them every 2 to 3 weeks, so it's been about 3 weeks. First, I just wanted to say hi from Happy Valley. It is getting chilly here and starting to feel like autumn. Today, temperatures are under 50 degrees for the first time, so we're all pulling out our woolly socks. The first thing I wanted to say was I needed to apologize that I didn't really understand how the personal response journals worked the first week that you sent them. In my version of Angel, they looked exactly the same as a discussion board. So I know that I told people to look at other people's postings and then quickly realized that with a personal response journal, you can't see other people's postings. So I now understand how that works, and I apologize for that. The next thing I wanted to highlight was, if you haven't already realized, the personal response journals are cumulative. So I'm asking you to look at your institution from various different angles. You're looking at its governance, you're looking at its Carnegie classification and its rankings, you looked at its history, and later on in the semester, you'll paste all of these assignments together into an institutional snapshot. So these are really cumulative, and as I'm giving you feedback on them, I'm often asking for clarification. I'm often kind of pushing you to go deeper, and you'll have a chance to revise those assignments when you put them together. So I do hope that you'll take my comments into consideration, and those are things I'll look for as I grade them as a whole assignment. Great, and then I wanted to give you some feedback on 2 of the assignments. The first was you were asked to take the role of a chair of a strategic planning committee last week. And funnily enough, Jenny in our class is actually on a strategic planning committee at Centara College. So it was really interesting to hear her insights of her actual experience and not her imagined experience. And in her experience, she is interested in moving Centara toward getting into graduate degrees and expanding and growing in that direction. Andrea had some interesting comments on how we use rankings and Carnegie classifications. She came up with what I thought was a really interesting term. She said that they allowed her to see her aspirational competitors. So it's not just you alone in a vacuum as an institution, but these ways of categorizing institutions allowed you to see who you were similar to, but then who was just ahead of you, who you could aspire to compete with. So I wanted to also talk about the position papers. I have read about 2/3 of them, and I've given you feedback. However, we do have some night owls in this class. There were a few papers that came in at midnight last night, so I haven't gotten to take a peek at those. So with the position papers, I wanted to really underscore that the assignment is to take a position. There is no perfect position. You have to make a decision and then defend that position and that stance. Definitely talk about the drawbacks, the challenges, the problems with that stance, but still choose a position and defend it. And so one thing I noticed in a few papers is that people really waffled, saying, there's no perfect answer, and so I'm not going to choose. Unfortunately, in life and in higher ed, I'm sure in your work, you find that you have to make decisions, you have to move forward as a program or as an institution. And so it's important to figure out how to take that stance and how to justify and defend it. So for the most part, you overwhelmingly agreed that the institution or PASHE should continue to take state appropriations and to figure out how to meet the accountability measures that went along with them. Holly went so far as to say it's a moral and ethical obligation of flagship universities to be affordable and accessible educational opportunities. So to serve first generation and low income students. And so taking the state appropriations over increased autonomy was a total no-brainer for her. So I look forward to reading the rest of the position papers. And then my last comment today is that if we were meeting weekly as a class, you would notice that I'm getting larger and larger every day. I'm pregnant. I am 4.5 months along. The baby will be due in the spring, so it won't affect you at all or our semester together. But I just wanted to let you know, because if we were together, you would notice that. And also, it's a boy, and I do not have a single decent boy name. So if you have good suggestions, please send me an email. The one parameter is that my husband is Mexican American, and so we're trying to find a name that works in English and Spanish. Boy names are really hard. Girl names are very easy. All right, that's all for this week. Thank you so much. Look forward to reading your responses and moving forward with this semester.